You're listening to PickFactor.com. I have an exclusive interview. You're joined by Darwin Navarrete here, and I am joined by my special guest, Rachel Ray, former Kansas City Chiefs cheerleader. But Friday night, and not even just Friday night, for a little while now, you can find her just kicking some butt. So, Rachel, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're busy, and you just fought for joining me tonight. How's it going today?
It's going good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, my pleasure. So, oh my goodness, you just fought Friday night. You're 2-1. I watched that fight. It was a heck of a fight, by the way, and you can definitely pound it in there. You both ladies, you know, I followed you on Instagram, Rachel, and I saw this picture that I really loved. And it was this picture where you and Nikki, I believe her name is, were going at it. Nadia, sorry. You and Nadia were going at it. And it was like an Apollo versus Rocky kind of fight because both the fists were coming at each other. And it took me back to the Rocky. So you ladies really got down and bloody and all that good stuff. Tell me, how was it, first of all? How are you feeling right now?
Well, honestly, I feel great. Like, I keep forgetting that I actually lost the fight because it felt like a win. It's just a huge confidence booster because, Nadia is probably one of the best female amateurs in the Midwest. And, I almost beat her. So it just shows me what I'm capable of. So even though I lost, I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, I would too. It's one of those. It was very close. It was a very close fight in terms of the judges, even. And you showed 2-1 is your record now. But you coming into this fight, you were 2-0. I was kind of reading a little bit about you. It looks like you trained with the former Strike Force fighter Jason High and ex-WEC fighter LCD Davis. Now, tell me, what kind of experience, what are you gaining in terms of experience from these guys that you took into this fight Friday night? I saw you it seems like you were very comfortable with the stand-up game, and you definitely let it be known. You left every other time, basically, you were throwing punches. Is that pretty much? Tell me, basically, what experience have you gotten from these guys going into that fight?
Well, they pretty much built me up from scratch. I basically have no background in any type of fighting, but I did start out with boxing was like the first aspect of it that I learned. So that's kind of where my stand-up game comes from. If you watch all my fights, I prefer to stand up. Not that I don't like jiu-jitsu, but I'm still learning. And with Jason and LC, whenever they corner me, they just tell me to keep it standing, and that's just where my comfort zone is. So they've been great, and they've pretty much taught me everything that I know up to this point. So I'm very lucky to have them.
What is your background in terms of growing up? You were a Kansas City Chiefs cheerleader for a couple seasons, it seems like, and now you're fighting. But I can only imagine growing up as a kid. What did you do? Were you a cheerleader? Did you do a little karate? I mean, I can only imagine. What were you a part of?
Well, I actually didn't do any of that. I was a gymnast whenever I was younger. I did competitive gymnastics for about 10 years. And then I moved on and started dancing. I made the dance team for my school from 8th grade all the way through junior high, high school. I went on and I was on the dance team at the University of Arkansas. And then after that, I decided to do it with the Chiefs and become a pro cheerleader. So I've pretty much been gymnastics, dancing, and cheerleading my whole life. I don't have any fighting background whatsoever until I found boxing whenever I moved to Kansas City. So that's kind of the background story.
We're joined by Rachel Ray, former Kansas City Chiefs cheerleader, now earned MMA fighter. And by the way, you kicked butt again. I'm new into the women UFC scene, and I'm sure many fans are. It is a fresh new and a new thing out there, and it's just it's kind of cool to see that there's really not much missing from watching a men's fight, you get the same action. It was, I'm sure the angle that I got wasn't the best, in terms of video watching, but the experience experience. It was pretty awesome. I mean, how you mentioned you feel pretty good. What can you take away from that fight from Friday night versus Nadia?
Well, I'm taking a lot away from the fight. First of all, you know, it's always like the test that a fighter needs, like, you know, to take a beating and then see if you can keep fighting through it. And I got caught in an armbar in that fight, and you know, it was pretty deep, and she had it, but you know, I just wasn't going to give up, so I didn't tap out to the armbar. I kept fighting, and you know, came back really strong in the second round, and then just made it all the way through the whole thing. And that's the first fight that I've had that went all 3 rounds. So I'm taking away a lot from that fight. You know, it's a really good experience. I feel like I'm just one step closer to going pro with it. Obviously, I'm not ready yet, but that fight really, really, even though I didn't win, I feel like I did win in a lot of ways.
Absolutely, and I watched it. You know what I really liked that I saw it caught her off guard. To be honest with you, Rachel, was that you would get her with those leg sweeps. Like, she wasn't expecting those a couple of times, you know, and you got her good between that and the punches. I mean, I liked it, and when you did take her to the ground, I understand. I got your whole non-comfort. There's a nice little clip out there of you on top of her and just beating her down too. So that was pretty cool. So tell me, are you going back, Rachel Ray? Are you doing the Kansas City Chiefs cheerleader for the NFL ever again, or do you think this is your thing? I love this feeling. There's nothing that compares to being an MMA fighter. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I can't see myself going back to the Chiefs. Although it was a great experience, I wouldn't change it for the world that I did it. And being a Chiefs cheerleader is what led me to this sport. So I know now why I, you know, was meant to do that. But this is what I love. I know that this is what I'm meant to be doing. I've never been so in love and passionate about something in my life, and I just can't imagine my life without it.
I can really tell, Rachel, because you have a shiner on both eyes, and you have a smile from ear to ear. So that's called passion and love, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Well,
I love it so much.
Thank you, Rachel Ray, for joining PickFactor.com. This interview will soon be up on PickFactor.com. And Rachel, where can everyone follow you on Twitter? And I know you have an Instagram out there.
Mm-hmm. My Twitter and my Instagram name are the same. It's @cheerleaderMMA. So people need to follow me on both Twitter and Instagram. I don't really do Facebook. That's where they can see like pictures and photo shoots and everything for my fights.
That's awesome. And we hope, fans out there, MMA fans, we hope that you're going to get a lot more of Rachel Ray here on PickFactor.com. And again, Rachel, thank you so much for taking the time and joining PickFactor.com today.
Yes, thanks so much for having me.